Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the Crockett Show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the Warzone. I got my man Rashard Baylor in the building. I got Demetrius Smith in the building. And I am the 5-star general. Slavery is over, but some of you Negroes still on the Democratic plantation. Well, tonight, we're going to tell you why we done just broke out and ran for freedom. Hopefully you come meet us, or we might have to be like Harriet Tubman. You know what she said about some of y'all. Let's go. Say, man, I want to welcome you to another episode of the Warzone and tell you thank you. Because it is a blessing that you take the time out to hang out with your boy. And I'm gonna start it off with this here. Ain't too much news I need to talk about, but I'm gonna tell you, we were supposed to do a press conference tomorrow, me and Cornell X, in front of Welch Middle School, but we pushed that off until Monday. Why? Because you have a principal over there that's totally out of control. Actually, she's crazy. I've dealt with her before. And I still don't understand how she has a job after everything that she's done. And she does all this racist stuff. But let me tell you what she's done in a nutshell. You had a teacher in a classroom that was using the word nigger. Now, she's the principal. An African-American teacher brought it to her. And she basically went off on the teacher. The kids that reported it, she coerced them into writing apology letters saying that what they heard was not true. The problem is when the teacher had the discussion with Principal Hernandez and even an assistant principal who admitted that the teacher was using this derogatory language, they didn't know that the teacher was recording them. They didn't know that the teacher recorded them when Miss Hernandez said all kind of racial stuff. 87 minutes of racism on a tape. And guess who got the tape? Gary Monroe. Ma'am, if I was you, I'd start packing my stuff now. Because when we unleash it, is what it is. I'm going to give you an example of how she was. You had an out-of-control black kid, because they get out of control like that. You had an African-American assistant principal that reeled him in. The kid trusted the principal. He calmed down. When the kid calmed down, the principal, who does not know she's being recorded, grabbed the kid. Oh, you're going to listen to him because he's black and you're black? Yeah, Miss Hernandez, I got all this on tape. I got 4 more than that on tape. When I get through this EEOC lawsuit that you finna face in HISD, that might be another 300,000. But anyway, I want to welcome my guest to the show, Rashard Baylor, and my good friend Demetrius Smith. And tonight we're gonna talk about y'all getting off the plantation. Now, I know I'm going to make some of y'all mad. I know it's a dude named Joe out there that's going to be hot. But I really don't give a damn. I really don't care, because it's time for us black folk to have this conversation. Now, the good thing that I have in common, is with these two individuals, they used to be Democrats, and now they're Republicans. The other thing that I have in common with them, all three of us are running for public office as Republicans. Gonna be some shit in them primaries. I tell you that. It's finna go down in them primaries, man. So tonight we're going to have a discussion about seeing if we can get some of you other Negroes to escape from the plantation. Put your Kunta Kinte shoes on, because it's time for you to break and run. Rashard, what's going on, my man? Introduce yourself to the people. Tell them what you're running for.
Roger that. All right, my name is Rashard Baylor. I'm running for HD 147, which is state representative for District 147. It's currently being headed by Garnett Coleman, who is in the position to be retiring right now. A little bit about myself. I served in the United States Navy as a submariner, Texas Army National Guard, as the 88 Mike, which is a truck driver, got deployed to the southwest border for Operation Guard and Support. went on 4 strategic deterrent patrols with the United States Navy. I felt like, man, I fought for my country. Now it's time to fight for my community. I came back home, joined the Black Panthers, marched with the Black Panthers, went down to Dallas, stood in front of the mosque when the Bureau Against Islamic Relations was standing out there saying that Muslims couldn't practice, especially the Nation of Islam Muslims. Real soldier activists in the street, man. I'm just ready to get out here and pretty much give everything I got for my community, man. A lot of people don't care about us, and I'm tired of it, man. You get a lot of fat back and biscuits, and I'm tired of it, man.
Well, I want to say this here because he is an alumni of Yates, and he's been sick. I want to say thank you, Garnett, for all those years. But really, you didn't do shit. I'm just gonna tell you the real. I don't give a damn if y'all get mad. But I thank you for showing up for work, but you really ain't do shit. So, Demetrius Smith, introduce yourself to the people, sweetie.
For some of you, you have followed me when I ran for city council way back in 2013. Some of you followed me when I ran for mayor in 2015. I ran for mayor in 2019. I ran for governor in 2018, got kicked off the ballot in 2018 also, and I ran for a state representative in 2016. So some people in Houston do know who I am, and I have ran on the Democratic ticket. But no longer. I'm done. I chunked the deuces. I'm out. I know what they all about, what they really stand for. And I know the history of the Democratic Party. I kind of set out of voting for the last 4 years until last year I voted. But last time I voted in the primaries was in 2016 because I wasn't happy with the party. And I just wasn't happy, period. And I didn't know really much about the Republican Party at all. So I couldn't say here or there what they was about. I just kind of sat back and classified myself as an independent without actually voting as an independent. I just classified myself as that. Then I became a Republican. I declared myself to be a Republican and will be voting in the Republican primaries in March as well. But I declared myself as a Republican March 2020 when the pandemic happened. For some of you, it may be a pandemic, it may be true to you. But when that happened, and when the Democrats shut us down way before the Republicans started, it started with your city leader. It started with Sylvester Turner and Lena Hidalgo. When they shut capitalism down, when they shut our independence down, our way of making money, our way of living, our quality of life, when they shut that down, I went on my social media page, Gary and Rashawn, and I heard crickets. I mean, nobody said nothing. So I'm like, so I feel like I was in the wilderness with everybody just laying down. Like, so ain't nobody gonna say nothing. So I'm like, wait a minute. We got your own leaders shutting down your way of life. You cannot eat. You can't feed your children. You don't know if you're going to come up out of this in 14 days, as they say, and they don't have no remedy for the people at that time. They didn't give you a check prior to shutting down. They just shut you down and you got to fend for yourself. I didn't like the way that happened. I didn't like they took full control of we the people like that. So, people might get mad when I say this. I honestly, I hated Trump. I'm not going to lie to you. I hated that man. I even want that man to die, literally. When I say that, I prayed and said, God, give him a stroke. A heart attack. Just don't let him wake up. That's how much I had hated that man because I heard so much from the Democratic side, how much they put out against him without me thinking for myself, without me doing a research for myself. I just went on exactly what the Democrat leadership had to say about Donald J. Trump. So, but when Donald J. Trump, the moment that man said liberate, I started listening to him. I'm like, wait a minute, that's the kind of talk I need to talk. That's what I want to listen to. Somebody tell you to liberate yourself from these shutdowns, these lockdowns, everything that was happening, the tyranny that was happening. When that man say, liberate yourself, is the moment I decided to listen to him, is the moment I changed my mind and I became a Republican because I saw for that moment that the head Republican was fighting for freedom. The head Republican was fighting for liberty. I didn't care what nobody had to say at that time. I wanted my independence, and that's when I became a Republican. Besides, my mama always been a Republican.
I can tell you this, that I became a Republican after I went to hold on a second, y'all. After I went to the Trump rally in Tulsa, and I got to meet like-minded people that had left the Democratic Party, white people, black people. I met all kinds of people. And the thing was, at that point, enough was enough. You know, when you have to deal with the likes, and I want to share this with y'all. Hold on a second. I got to share the screen. Hold on. We're going to share the screen. Hold on. Hold on. We're being governed by people like this. People that are filthy rich, but yet they keep you poor. They keep the programs in place that keep you poor. At that point, I was like, enough is enough. It doesn't mean I don't like her on a personal level, but on a political level, I see what's really going on. You feel what I'm saying? So the thing is, for me, that was it. I watched how they handled the pandemic. And you know what I call the way that they handled the pandemic with us, where they took our freedoms and liberties away? I call that the Section 8 plan. You put all us on Section 8. You put all us on welfare. And you decided, I'm going to spoon feed you money when I feel you need it. I'm going to give you $1,500 every 6 to 8 months until you survive off of that. Oh, no. You got me messed all the way up. So at that point, that's when I decided enough was enough. And I'm not going to keep believing the lies that they are telling us. Look, I know some people out there going to be upset. Oh, man, you can't go to the Republican Party. Well, why not? When we were Republicans, we owned Black Wall Street. When we were Republicans, we had land. We owned property. You see, there wasn't no gentrification because we owned the whole damn town. You feel what I'm saying? But when Lyndon B. Johnson tricked us into riding with these people, Dr. King said at the time, I had a dream. Well, a nigga been asleep since then. Y'all still dreaming? You still dreaming? Say, man, it's time to wake up and get off the Democratic plantation. Now, I want you to understand, I've been a Democrat all my life. I did what Demetra did. I voted the way they told me to vote, like Rashad did. You feel what I'm saying? But then when we woke up and we figured it out. No. We ain't going to keep doing this. So tonight, what I'm looking for, we going to have this discussion, but I need 10 of y'all to come ride with us. I need 10 of y'all to abandon them clowns. You feel what I'm saying? And come ride with us. Because over here, we ain't got them issues. You know what we got? Since they say that the Republicans and the white folks are the devil, you know what we got? We got some good American patriots that's trying to help us start our own businesses. They ain't asking us for nothing. They trying to guide you the right way. You feel what I'm saying? And for all of those, well, y'all just taking money from them to run your campaigns. Sylvester Turner did it. Why can't I? He took money from the Republicans. He took Tony Busby money, and then he ran against him. You see what I'm saying? The Republicans are broke. No. The Democrats are broken. And it's time for us to wake up. Y'all are already living a Republican dream when you move out the ghetto and take your ass to the suburbs. You already living a Republican dream. Your kids going to Republican-controlled schools. But yet you will still stand here and tell me as a black person you can't make that transition? No, the reason you can't make that transition because they conditioned your mind to think that things are a certain way. But they're not. Rashad, what you got to say about that?
Just to piggyback on what you said about black men being Republican or black community being Republican, I'll say here in the state of Texas, right, the first 150 black men out of freedom, once, the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, the Democratic Party talk about that and they say, oh, we're giving Juneteenth Freedom Day, we're making a national holiday. But they're not telling you where those free black men went. In Texas, 150 black men started the Texas GOP. Norris Wright Cuny was one of those black men. Norris Wright Cuny, who is the Eastern Star chapter for the Prince Hall Grand Lodge, the chapter is named after him. He was one of the most prominent black, or not even just black, one of the most prominent Republicans of that time. You know, for them to say that, oh, you know, Republican Party is racist, this, that, and the other. Racism didn't start until the government stepped in. And what government stepped in? The liberal side of the government stepped in and said, black people need this, black people need that, and black people need this. You know what did that? Was white guilt. White guilt is the reason why we're in this situation that we're in right now. They feel sorry for what they're doing, and they're overcompensating for it by giving us all of these handouts. But not realizing these handouts aren't helping us up. They're keeping us down. They're keeping us in the chokehold. And until we let go of that Democrat, you know who said the best? I think it was Malcolm X. That's who Pan-Africans talk about the most. They talk about Malcolm X, right? That's one of the prominent prominent figures of the Black Pan-African Party. He said, be weary of the white liberal. That was his words. Be weary of the white liberal. Today in society, who's controlling us? Who are we following? The white liberal. Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, who said that, oh, you know, I'm going to do this for the black people. I'm going to do this for black people. I'm going to do that for black people. His ass been crickets. Since they've been offered to been crickets. You know, but gas prices and stuff are rising. The cost of groceries are rising. The cost of living is rising. Just inflation is skyrocketing. Property taxes. I got property. My mortgage went up $200 on top of my HOA fees. Now people say, oh, that's going to be planned, blah, 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 blah. Look at it. When shit go bad, when Trump was in office, they said it was Trump. When shit go bad and Biden was in office, I put it on Biden. It's not a, you know, by chance that everything went from light to dark when he got in office. But yeah, we'll put it off and say, oh, you know, that's Trump's fault. What we're feeling right now is Trump. No, we're not feeling Trump. We're feeling Biden. And that's something that's being lied to us all the time. We'll say, oh, you know, that's the previous president. No, we're living in the era of the current president. And until we get out of this mindset of, oh, the Democratic Party got it out for us, you know, blah, blah. You know, another thing who messes us over is that damn church. The Democratic Party has bought out the church, and those members of the church, the gate leaders of the church, even in the black community, you go to every mega church, they're in pockets with the Democratic Party, and they keep a stronghold on us. Every Sunday you go to sermon and you hear about how we're victims and we can't get ahead and we can't get out of this shit that we're in right now, and it's the white man's fault. Ain't no white man got no control over me. Ain't no man got control over me. The only man that got control over Rashard is Rashard. I am the person who control my actions. Therefore, I control the outcome of things. And when things fail, that's on me. It's not on no white man. That accountability falls on me.
Hold on a second. Because I'm gonna say this, and then I want Demetri to talk about this. Michael Brown said they're overcompensating, but neither party wants to pay reparations. Hold on, let me say this, and then Demetri, you can chime in. All right. Mm-hmm. Who controls the government right now? Who controls the House and the Senate right now? Even if it fails, who can force reparations to go to the floor? The Democrats. They got enough votes to make it go to the floor, even if it fails. Correct. So the question now becomes, why aren't they doing it? But they also have enough votes to push it through. But that white liberal, which is Nancy Pelosi, is not going to let it go to the floor. She's not going to let it. But you know why? Because it's going to expose people in the Democratic Party that are the same color that we are, that don't want us to have it. Demetri?
Thank you. I saw that, Mr. Michael Brown. You say that they are overcompensating, but neither party wants to pay reparation. Okay, and you laughed about it. Okay, I'd like to ask you, when the last time you actually been to a hearing, even in your own state, if you live in the state of Texas, to even talk about reparation with either party, to even understand that neither party wants to do it. We know for a fact that the Democrat parties do not want to do it, but I can't say the other side want to do it or not want to do it until I actually have those facts that I actually been involved. So the question is, when the last time you've been involved in this type of conversation with either party for you to even, you know, make a comment like that? So now let's talk about reparation. Your Democratic Party seems like you're so proud of right now. Your Democratic Party, Sheila Jackson Lee, I'm not sure if you're in Houston, Texas or not, but she wrote a bill. She authored a bill to study reparation. Study. reparation? Why are you writing a bill to study reparation versus cutting the check? There's no need to study because they know the history of what happened to Negroes, okay? Black America, people of color, African American, this color of law label, these are color of law, these are statuses, okay? These statuses actually means nothing in their law. It means nothing. Negro actually means people. That's what Negro actually means. And they outlawed the word Negro because it was the Negroes back in the Declaration of Independence that they could not enslave anymore. So you did not see the word Negro in that study of reparation bill that Sheila Jackson Lee actually authored, the Black Sheila Jackson Lee. Black people of color, African American means nothing, but they know the statuses of these words and what these words mean. So she would never, go ahead, Rashad.
The reason I was going to say that is because she's not of African descendant of slave descent. She is of Caribbean descent. So her focus and her alliance isn't with us. She's alliance with immigrants. She comes from an immigrant family. Therefore, she'll never have our best interests at heart.
Okay, thank you for tagging that. So she's a foreigner then. That's where she is. She just appeared to be black, and which means nothing still. But let's get to the reparation, Mr. Who's that? Michael Brown. So if you really want reparation, your reparation is in the Bill of Rights. Okay, you're looking for a check. I get that. But first you need to be liberated in order before you cash that check. Okay, you need your freedom before you can cash a check or even get a check endorsed. So if you understood your Bill of Rights and the freedom that's embedded in that, then you'll understand your reparation is in your sovereignty. Number one, you want to set yourself up as a creditor. You want to set yourself up as a secured party creditor. If you understood commercial law, this is what the Democrats are and some of these rhinos. The democracy, the way they got the democracy set up, which is the system in place that they have to set up, they have become trustees over our account. Mr. Michael Brown, you have an account number with the Department of Treasury. We all do. That's why they took the $1.2 trillion out and they took it from the taxpayer that they indebted to, which is we the people. Where you think the money come from? The money comes from our account. Okay, and the only way they can access our account because they have managed an affair because we have not claimed our birthright. The moment you're ready to claim your birthright, your reparation is there. So let's start studying and researching that you already had your reparation. You just don't know how to get it. And you probably don't want to really study it and probably don't want to research it. So let's first learn our rights first. And then we could talk about reparation, learn what status you in. Then you could talk about reparation. But as long as you declare yourself as black, people of color, African American, you'll never have access to your rights. You'll always be a chattel slave, chattel property to the democracy, which is the system that has enslaved everyone. Y'all can go for it.
Oh my God. Hold on a second, man. You didn't hit him in the mouth with that one. See, you need to sit in, you need to take notes. You need to take notes, man. Because they want you to believe these three are crazy. No, we ain't crazy. We do the homework. We're not crazy at all. I'm looking at another question. This people of color thing, I want to ask y'all about that because I'm not a people of color. I'm black. Do y'all know what they saying when they say people of color? They're saying Latinos. They're saying minority white women. They're considered people of color. I'm not a people of color. I'm black. What you got to say about that, Rashad?
So my thing, when I went to TSU the first time around, because I've gone to college a few times, and that's just not for me. When I was at TSU, I was in the African American Studies class, and I think I was about 18 years old at the time. And the professor kept calling us African Americans, and I raised my hand and told her, I said, I'm not African American. I'm just American. If you want to put a title, a subtitle, you call me Black American, but I'm not African American. I say, no offense, but the brother next to me, where you from? He said, I'm from Africa. I say, You're an African American, being the fact that you came here from Africa and you migrated here. Me being born here, my birthright here, I am just a Black American. So I don't like putting a subtitle in front of American, because then it makes it seem like I'm American-ish, like I'm not
Right.
full-fledged American. My lineage goes back here. I've had family members that fought in every single war for this country. So for me to say I'm some kind of American is BS. It's bullshit, right? We're just Black Americans. No subtitle in front of it or anything like that. And once we separate ourselves from everybody else, because we always want to do that whole skin folk, kinfolk thing. They Black, they us. Now to hell with that. All Black folk ain't kinfolk. And we need to start separating and putting a distinction on that. Africans descended of slaves, we are in our own category. And until we put ourselves in that category and separate us from everybody else, we're going to always get caught up in the BS, like reparations right now. Who's leading the cause for reparations are not Africans descended of slaves. There are immigrants, from the Caribbeans or from Haiti or whatever else, Nigeria, blase, that look like us, but they don't care about reparations because they're not pushing us. They're not for us. And until we start putting people of color, African descended slaves, in office that represent our best interests and not just skin folk, we're going to forever keep falling victim to this circus that we have going on. We need to do research and wake the hell up. People don't do no damn research.
Michael Brown, real quick. He said I need to be free before I can cash a check. So he asking a question. I kind of want to just, if you don't mind, Gary, I can say go for it. Okay, so what I mean by that, when you're in your proper status, Mr. Brown, you got to check in that U.S. Department of Treasury. Okay. And the only people that have access to your account that you don't know you have is your politician, because your politician act as fiduciary over your account. They're managing because they claim your birthright and you have not. The moment you get in that proper status and claim your birthright, they no longer have endorsements to your check. They no longer have managing affairs to your check in that U.S. Department of Treasury. You do. You can take the hands out the cookie jar when you put yourself in your rightful status. Do I know this work? Absolutely, I know it work. Is it working for some people? I know, especially in my family. Absolutely, I know. Okay, so with that being said, I'm very confident in what I'm saying. It can lead you there. No problem, because it's there. It's in the law. You got to know commercial law. You got to know your Bill of Rights. You have to know the Bill of Exchange. You got to know the CFR codes, the USC codes, UCC code. Like, you have to know all of this to understand how to claim your birthright. And guess what? The state of Texas and the U.S., the federal government, must give it to you once you go for it. It is time for people to take back their stuff. If you want your rights is in contracts. You got to understand, every contract that you sign is your rights in there. Did you negotiate? Who got the bargaining power? Do the drawer have the bargaining power more than you? Like right now, people need to understand contract law. You want your rights, baby, read that contract, honey. Anytime the government give you anything, it's more in it for them than it is for you. It is for you. You got to put your bargaining power, put yourself in your correct status, and you can do it by paper, honey. Because what they do, they take our rights by paper. We always got to sign something. We always got to waive our rights. They coerce us. They threaten us. They beat us. They kill us because they need one golden thing, and that's our signature. Whether you're dead or alive, they're going to cash a check on you because you haven't claimed your birthright. But once you claim your birthright, baby, they can't touch your check. Neither can they kill you. Understand?
Let me jump
That's
in.
your rights. Go ahead, Gary.
Let me ask y'all a question, and I'm gonna go last. Did LBJ trick us into becoming Democrats?
Yes. Yes. Can I go? You can go. Now go. Go ahead, Rashad. Like y'all want me to go.
No, you go first. I always lead it.
Okay. Okay. So it was the Republican Party who actually passed the Civil Rights Bill. It wasn't the Democratic Party who passed it. It was the Republican Party. Okay. A bunch of white people. Okay. Passed the Civil Rights Bill. Now, we'll get to the LBJ. Now, the Democrats are the one that They filibuster that thing for 77 whole days. For 77 whole days, they want to make sure black folks, that's what they label us to be, didn't have a right to vote. For 77 whole days, they made sure that black folks, that's what they call us to be, didn't have property, couldn't own property, couldn't have a speedy trial, could not have good wages or earn a good wage. It was the Democratic Party, the white supremacists at the top of their leadership, who used black supremacists, taskmaster, to come and chase the rest of us as slaves, who's the one that made sure they stopped us from getting ahead, like Gary said before. They give you benefits. And the reason why they give you benefits is because it's their democracy. Their democracy giving you benefits, got a contract with you. And in order for them to contract with you, you got to obey massa. If you get food stamps, you got to obey the terms and conditions of that welfare. If you get a driver's license, go ahead, Gary, because I'm about to go in now.
Hold on a second. I know you're long.
Okay.
I clearly know, y'all, that it started with FDR. The reason I brought up LBJ is because of the comment that he made. If I can get him to vote Democrat, then I'll have him voting Democrat for the next 200 years. That's why I brought it up. So finish, Demetri.
And he said that because he knew that because he was the Democratic president, he signed, after it was passed by the Republican Party, he actually signed the bill as the Democratic president. And that's how we was able to switch over during that time, because Dr. Martin Luther King's family was a Republican, and they're hiding his status, his party status. But his niece said that he was a Republican too. So the black base during this time in protest and all that, we was all Republicans then. But they don't want the Republicans, because Republicans actually stand for the republic. That means sovereignty. That means your permission. That means it's up to you. You tell your government what to do and what not to do. So they needed the black folks to transition from the Republican Party and on down to the Democrat Party. And that's why he said what he said, that he'll have Negroes vote for the next Democrat for the next 200 years. That's how this switch actually happened. Now they want to talk about ideologies. They want to talk about, things have switched. Y'all can come back to me on that.
Rashad?
I mean, she said everything I was going to say and some. But no, I think that's the biggest thing that they try to use, is that whole the party switch and the parties flip-flop. And I don't see anywhere in history, or have I had any one of those scholars that say that the parties flip-flop really support that with actually agendas, platform policies and that thing. They want to say, one or two people swap. They like to use David Duke and all this. David Duke ran for every party and every political position he could. He didn't give a damn what he was. He was an opportunist. My thing is, look at these platforms of these parties. Really go to the Democratic platform, Texas Democratic platform, and go to the Texas GOP platform, and look at these platforms and see which one really align with who you are as a person and what you stand for as a person and your community. That's the thing. Like, people say all this, flip-flap and a holler, but nobody really picks up a book and really does the research for themselves. We're so quick to click on the clickbait title. Blah, 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 blah. When a lot of the shit is satire, but we fall for it. We fall victim to it because we don't do any damn research. They say, if you want to keep something from a Negro, put it in a book. That's the same thing right now. Put it in an article. We won't read it. And it won't, until we stop being lazy. It's really on us. I'm gonna take accountability, right? Because they can say and do whatever they want to, but until we really take accountability and step up and start doing our own research and stop being lazy and ignorant, purposely ignorant, we won't get out of this hellhole we're in. All three of us, we stopped being lazy and we refuse to remain ignorant. Like you say, we took the chains off. We took our chains off our mind and really freed ourselves. And we're asking the rest of y'all, look, I'm not telling you to follow me. What I'm telling you is I will give you the resources and the shit that I read for y'all to read and make the same decisions that I made. Like, the shit's out there. Quit being lazy. Quit being lazy and allowing these Democrats to feed you this bullshit. As long as you keep taking these handouts, we're going to be in this situation.
I had a conversation with a lady today that said, when she was younger, she had a baby at a young age. And, at that point, she ended up getting assistance. And it was sort of like she was imprisoned by getting all this free assistance, because no matter what she tried to do and tried to break away from it, it was just too hard to get away from it. And she say, right now, I can only imagine And I'm telling y'all the conversation I had today. I can only imagine that, what these young girls are going through nowadays. People think because you get Section 8, you got it made. No, because once you get on that shit, you can't make X amount of money. You can't do this. You can't do that. And that's why I say the way that they handled the pandemic, it was sort of like they put us all on Section 8. And I didn't like it because y'all still saw me traveling. Y'all were telling me, put your mask on. I'm in different cities. You see what I'm saying? So, the thing is I have my liberties. I have my rights. And nobody's tried to infringe on them, especially people from the Republican Party. But see, people are telling us you shouldn't leave the Democratic Party. You should stay. And I'm asking folks, well, why should I stay when my neighborhood looked the same way it did 40 years ago? My schools are worse than what they were 40 years ago. So tell me, why should I stay? Why should I keep voting for Sheila Jackson Lee? Why should I keep voting for Rodney Ellis? Ellis is a multi-millionaire and don't give shit to nobody. So a whole bunch of y'all done sold your vote in the last 48 hours. What you mean, Mr. Monroe? Did you Negroes get your turkeys? Because that's how you won the last couple of years. Because you got three things out the deal. You got turkey, water, and hand sanitizer. And they got your vote. I'm running for state rep 131. I got the turkeys in the fucking freezer. So can I get your vote too? Because that's all of you getting out the deal. That's all you getting out the deal. But then when you look at it, why don't they take care of the black schools? They're not going to take care of a school that's labeled black. But if we label that school a school of color, then maybe they might do something for us, because now we're going to loop in everybody. The Asians, the Latinos, the immigrants, illegal immigrants. You see what I'm saying? They're going to loop in all these people. But you can't do anything for us as an individual race. Oh, we can't do that, but you do it for them. You do it for them. And you know what's so crazy? The Democrats caping for anything that'll help another race except a black race. You see what I'm saying? Except the black race. They'll cape for anything for the Asian community. And I'm talking about the black politicians. They'll cape for anything for the Asian community, but they won't do the same things for the black community. So for me, I'm not finna keep playing with these people, man. My nerves get bad. I told Dr. Bertie Simmons I'm going to try to stop cussing. These motherfuckers make me cuss every day. I like being around folk that's like-minded. I like being around multi-millionaires that can tell me how to get to the money. See, because they ain't hiding the information. Them black folk in power, they hide the information. Them white folk will give you the information. They ain't tripping. And a lot of them give it to you because they know you ain't going to do shit with it. They know you ain't going to do shit with it. So my thing is I'm tired of these people. Man, how many of y'all come and hang out with us, man? You got 3 people here, no matter what they say about us. We're running for public office. We've left the Democratic Party, and we're not ashamed to say we're running as Republicans. Why should I be? Going from Democrat, and then y'all can speak on that. Going from Democrat to Republican is like filing bankruptcy. When you decide to do it and you wake up the next day, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right because it's a whole bunch of people flopping right now. It's a whole bunch of black people that's sick of Joe Biden and his lies, sick of Miss Chucks and Pearls, and ain't nobody finna put up with this in 22 and 24. Rashad?
So, man, talk about it. I never even really spoke about how I left the Democratic Party and why, man. So I'll tell you this. So I joined the Navy in 2009. Of course, I voted for Obama like everybody else because he was black. No other reason, no qualification, no nothing. I just got out of high school. I was young, voted for him because he's black. I served in the Navy the first term of Obama. And during that time, I met a chief, man, Chief Green. He talked to me in the machinery room on the boat, and he was like, hey, who'd you vote for? And I told him Obama. And he was like, why? And I was like, because he's black. And this is a white chief. He told me that's some dumb shit to do, to vote strictly on your color. And I was like, why? And he broke it down to me. He's like, all these things that nobody had ever explained, politics to me, because we talk in the Black community, we don't talk about politics, religion, and money. Those are the three things that we don't talk about yet. Those are the three things that got the major stronghold on the Black community. Ironic, right? So with him explaining that to me and breaking down politics with me, it made me look at it outside of my emotions and look at it from a logical standpoint. How are these people really killing us? How are these people really holding us back? And once I stepped out and saw for the world, or saw the Democratic Party for what it was, shit, I stepped back, man. I didn't vote for Trump the first time. I didn't vote for Obama the second time. I didn't vote from 2008 until 2020. I took 12 years off. So, because I was so confused on what was going on. I didn't know who was telling the truth. I didn't know who was lying to me. I just felt bamboozled by everybody, man. And then I had just started living life. I was young, so I didn't know anything. So when I finally picked up, again, books, started doing research, and really started finding out who I was as a person and aligning myself up with parties and people, who represent what I want for my community. And I won't say that all Democrats are bad. I'm not going to say all Republicans are good, because you got some shitty Republicans and you got some damn good Democrats. I'm not gonna lie and say that, because Rand Paul, who gets a lot of slack, is one of the strongest Republican parties who do the most for the Black community. The Breonna Taylor laws and all that stuff, that came from a Republican. Rand Paul did that shit. But yeah, you can see on TV how the liberals were harassing the shit out of him. But yet he's a victor for Black people. So what are we really doing? Who's really controlling us? To hell with that shit, man. I'm tired of the media. I'm tired of this stronghold. I can say it a million times, man. I'm tired of this damn stronghold. And I'm tired of the strongholds that the gatekeepers of the Black community have. And I'll say the older generation. My grandmother, who's a strong-hearted Democrat, no matter how many facts I present her, she'll tell me I ain't never voting Republican. And she don't have a reason why, other than the fact that her mother told her to vote Democrat. So shit, I don't know. Somebody fill me in, help me how we lead these people, the masses off the plantation. I'm with the Harriet way.
Well, Chantel Antoine, I can't pronounce your last name. She said both parties are detrimental to Black people. So here's my question. How do you know you ain't tried the other party? Demetra?
You on mute.
Oh. I'm sorry, thank you. And that is a question that she needs to really ask herself. I don't know if she was a part of the Republican Party before. If she was, she can fill us in if she like and put it in comments. If not, then that's something she definitely needs to research. I would not be commenting on a party that you know nothing about, because it's actually, and I hate to say this, when I say ignorance, it shows that you're unaware of what's going on, but you pretend as though that you are aware, and that's the Democratic way. The Democrat always makes something appear to be real when it's really not. And they always propagandize you, and they always pander without facts, because they know people like Chantel, if she and Michael Brown, if they haven't been on that other side to really know, it's going to fall for this here, because they're going to be emotional about it, and it's going to piss them off. Now let's talk about being pissed off as a Democrat. I used to stay mad. I stayed pissed off. I stayed complaining all the time, because I never heard nothing good. I always heard their plans to do something good for the Black community, is what they call it. I always heard that, but I never saw anything come into fruition, because that's not what they're due. Their job is to contract with slaves. People like Chantel and Michael Brown, I don't want to offend you, but I'm sorry, I just have to say it, because slaves going to be obedient, and slaves emotional anyway, and a lot of slaves are, because they do not research, they do not read whatsoever. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it's disrespectful when you don't know nothing about somebody else or another party that you probably haven't did anyway. Okay, I'm sorry about that. So with that being said, I'm like Mr. Brown, Mr. Rashad, please do your research on both party agenda. You don't have to do no research at all, but before you state something as it is a fact, make sure you do your research and speak intelligently, meaning speak with facts versus giving us your opinion, or just state, okay, I'm going to have an opinion for you. So with that being said, hey, nobody's forcing you to flip-flop. Nobody's forcing you to do anything. We're just telling you the reason why we became who we became. And we know what we are. We broke ourselves free because we're now thinking for ourselves. And me, I'm about that foundation. So the Republicans about faith, family, and freedom. And everybody that's on this thread, it's about faith, family, and freedom. I'm going to say, like Cindy said, you're a Republican, you just didn't even know it. What makes you a slave is the policy of the Democratic way, the policy of the Democratic Party. That will make you a slave when you adhere to these policies, unconstitutional laws, these rules, these mandates, because you don't do no research and you're not standing up for yourself. So I say stand up for yourself and be a sovereign. And sovereign means you tell them folks what to do. And you can just declare your sovereignty. You can declare your power out your mouth.
Comments. Michael Brown says, I'm an independent voter, agenda first, not party. Lots of assumptions tonight. Jalen says, I think both parties have benefits, but really associating yourself with one extreme or the next never works out. Ideas change and people evolve. Sharon Thomas says, hello, no vote if there's nothing in it for B1. Come with receipts. I think that's what she meant to say. Frank say, I see what you're talking and ignorant. So let me ask you a question. I want to address that comment. And I want to talk to the ladies. Can I talk to you ladies? I know I'm kind of okay. Talk to you ladies. I want you to look at both parties like they meant. Now, when your man ain't doing what he supposed to do, what do? Y'all leave him, you get single, you advertise it, I'm single and I'm good, and you do your own thing. So my question now becomes, since you're a staunch Democrat, why is it that you can't see that you're getting played and you can't lead this bad marriage that you in? Why you can't lead this bad marriage that you in? Are you ashamed to say that you're a Republican? Are you nervous about your friends not being your friends anymore? Because at the end of the day, at the bottom of your light bill, it don't say you and friends. You pay that. You do what you need to do. You see what I'm saying? Like right now, let's use our heads. In Harris County, the threat level is at the lowest level. You see politicians out boogieing and doing their thing. They ain't wearing no masks. Why they still got them kids wearing masks in schools? Because they friends have contracts for those masks. They make money off those masks. You see, when you hear the Republican people, man, take these masks off my kids. But the Democrats, every last one of them in Harris County, keep the masks on them, including the county judge who does not wear a mask. I've caught at several functions without a mask on, but yet you will force these children to wear these masks. And it's not because, you're trying to save their lives. It's because your friend is making money off the contract that supplies the mask to the school district. I'm just using the schools. If they can force these masks on government workers and mandate it, they're going to make trillions of dollars off of a simple mask. You see what I'm saying? So I'm telling y'all, the tricks and the games, we're pulling the panties off of them right now. And trust me, a whole bunch of them don't like it. I'm getting strange inboxes. No, you ain't got to hit me strange, pimp. You know my number. You got a problem with what I'm representing right now? You got a problem with that? But for y'all know me for the last 10 years. I've been battling to get the basic resources for my community. But these black Democrats who say they represent us, and me and Rashad from the same area, they did a damn thing for our community. Nothing. But I know y'all, you got some other things out the deal. You got free masks, you got water, you got sanitizer, you got some gloves, and right now you're getting your turkey. And that's more than enough for you to vote for these sorry ass politicians, huh? But yet you steady complaining about your schools failing. You steady complaining about the crime. But you don't get it. They need this to be like this because they make money off your demise. They make money off. Show me where the school failing in a Republican neighborhood. Show me where the streets all tore up in the Republican neighborhood. Show me where you got multiple murders every day in the Republican neighborhood. Yes, they have their issues over there, but they're not like ours. And the one thing I like about the Republicans, and I'm going to say this, and I don't give a damn if you get mad. When they people ain't doing their job, get your ass out of office. They not playing them games. You going to go in there and do what you say you going to do? You going to get us what you promised you going to get us? And us over here, we mad because they getting it. But yet our people control every facet of the government at the moment and can't get shit done for us. Explain that to me, Rashad.
I can't make sense of it. I want to know if one of them Texas Democrats that went up to Washington and filibustered. Again, they filibustered. They want to call it a sit out, but it was a filibuster. Let's call it what it was. They filibustered a bill because they got upset because they don't like democracy. They don't like the fact that the people voted their representatives in. They got mad. They left and they ran away. They threw a bitch fit, a hissy fit, a temper tantrum. You know, that's the way with them. I can't get what I want, so I'm gonna throw a hissy fit, or either I'm gonna throw a bunch of lies out there, propaganda to get you to vote and sway the motions of the people to get them to vote the way I need them to vote. We know it's the tactics, we know it's the tricks. It's the same way every year. It's gonna be the same thing next year. Probably by June, they're gonna master some type of confusion up, and they're gonna say it's the Republican Party because every time they fail, they say the Republicans stopped them, or the Republicans didn't vote. The House and the Senate they own right now, but yet they say the Republicans won't play fair. Like how? You got the majority. They are the minority. You got fighting within your own ranks. You've got fighting within your own ranks. But yet you want to say somebody else is holding you back? The only people that's holding y'all back is yourselves, and y'all holding black folk back. Y'all holding us back also with that bullshit. Y'all using us as pawns to push y'all agenda. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. I tell people all the time, I fought for my country. Now I'm finna fight for my community. You know, my girls, I got a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and I need some husbands for them. I would rather them marry somebody that look like them and look like me. And the way I do that is by investing into these young black men. That's the way we raise our communities, by investing into these young black men. Once we raise the status of our young black men, they'll feel more encouraged to step up and raise their families. They won't abandon them because they're what happened? Somebody said something. Who's that, Asada?
No, go ahead.
They'll feel more encouraged and more empowered to step up and own their responsibilities. Right now, don't nobody give a damn about these black men. They get out of high school, they don't want to go to college. I didn't want to go to college, but yet I didn't have shit to do. The only thing you left with is the hustle because you want to impress these young girls and you want to raise your family. A lot of men ain't sorry enough to where they just want to live off women. They'll go hustle and risk their lives to feed their family, and then they fall victim to circumstance. Us three are trying to change that circumstance. Us three are trying to empower young black men and young black women. I'm not trying to take away from black women, but black women got it going on. Black women got the damn thing going on. They're the most educated people in our country. We need our black men to get up there, not necessarily with degrees, but it may be with a trade. It may be with some type of skill set. Once we empower these black men, we'll change our whole status as a people. I guarantee you, because you'll have more black families. You won't have these broken homes. That's where we come from with those platforms that the conservative party stand for: faith, family, freedom. The Democratic Party don't give a damn about family. Black Lives Matter, who is highly promoted by the Democratic Party, said they want to destroy the nuclear family structure. That means man, woman, and child. That's the same thing that Huey P. Newton and the Black Panthers Party fought for: woman, infant, and child. You know, my thing is, how can we continue to destroy our families with these ideologies that do not support us? We are dying as a people. We are dying. We are killing our children before they could come out of their wombs, and we do not have family structure to raise these children the right way. We've got to break this circle, man.
Asada G. Ash said, as of now, the Republican Party policies benefit my family and the community the best. The Democratic policies of LGBTQ, illegal immigration, mandates are all proven to hurt the black community. Is that true, Dimitri? Hold on. There you go.
Yes, absolutely. It is definitely true. Again, it's kind of hard to explain if the research hadn't even been begun. But at least when I throw something out there, hopefully some people can at least go do some research on certain things that I say if they're taking mental note or physical notes. But I know about the illegal immigrants and all that, but I want to jump to the mandate because she said something very powerful, and these mandates come from the Democratic Party. Mandates are unconstitutional. Number one, mandates are a judicial proceeding for people that's involved in a case. The American people is not involved in any type of judicial proceedings. So the mandates that's just come about to actually continue to enslave us, and it's enslaving Black America more so. When I say that, I've seen a lot of things. I'm gonna tell you, it's a lot of patriots. A lot of patriots I know for a fact and seen actually, how can I say, they're claiming their rights. I'm gonna just say that. And the Black folks are being left behind because they're leaving themselves behind. There's a train moving, and there's a train moving to sovereignty. There's a train moving to freedom and liberty. There's a train moving. There's a lot of patriots on that train. And there's another train coming in. There's a train leaving out for freedom, and it's a train coming in to take away freedoms. It's coming in to crash in on liberty. So the folks that's going to be left here behind because they don't know their sovereignty, they don't know their rights, they can't stand up, they're not even deciding to read and research, are going to get crashed by this moving train. But there's another train. I'm on that train too. Gary's on that train. Rashad is on that train. And I'm sure some more people, I'm sure some more Black Americans on the same train. So the mandates, you talk about contracts about the mask earlier, Mr. Monroe. But the mandates, I hope you not know, when these mandates come down like that, this whole so-called pandemic that happened, remember they was catering to Black America, the most vulnerable. They was calling us the most vulnerable. They want to make sure that nobody white skipped us in line, to get the so-called vax. They want to make sure that did not happen. Well, that would have been a one time, that would have been okay, because I don't know what's in the vax. And that's what my thinking was. So why now you don't want white America that have privileges, and we always had complained about that, want to skip Black America in line when Gary always talk about our neighborhoods. Look at our neighborhoods. Like they really care about your health when they left your neighborhoods abandoned. They left your pockets abandoned. They left your children abandoned. They really now care about your health and you didn't connect that. They really want you to really be vaccinated. They care about your health? Absolutely not. What they want to do is gentrify Black America, instinct Black America, enslave Black America. And I'm going to share this light real quick. I'm going to pass it on. What do I know? It's in law and it's written. The Gary's right about the money on the mask, but it's so much money Big Pharma is making on these so-called vax. So much money with all these doses. Every 6 months, you got to get a booster. You got to get all these doses of vax, so-called vax. Who you think is getting paid? It's surely not you. Insurance company, all the politicians, Big Pharma, all the manufacturing company. Everybody's getting paid off of what's going inside of you, but you. You're not getting paid. And if you don't know, you need to look up on Moderna website, Moderna. And that's for all of the so-called vax. I keep saying so-called vax. If you look on Moderna website, I'm going to share something that's going to blow your mind. If you look on their website, it's going to tell you that the mRNA is a software of life. It's a technology software of life. And if you go to Texas Business and Commerce Code, and you go to Uniform Commercial Code, and you go to USC Code of the United States, it's going to classify that software as chattel property. Chattel property. And if you look at chattel property, that's on chattel paper, it's called instruments. If you know what instrument is, it gets sold on a Security Exchange Commission. That's your chattel slavery been sold. You've been traded on the market. All these people making money, but you. So it's something in it. When they go inside of you, honey, you not only been fully so-called vax, honey, you've been fully patented. And you've been on because that number that's on that vial, baby, you got a number and you got a CDC card. That is a contract. That is a contract. You gave them permission to go in your account. In your account. And when they think they're going to get the rest of the American, especially Black American enslaved, next thing you know, you got to meet the terms and conditions. If you don't meet them terms and conditions, they're going to family separation going to come. You're going to have to go in that little FEMA camp or whatever camp they want to classify as. All that's going to come because you accepted a contract. You didn't even think it was a contract. And they got paid without being responsible for whatever happened to you. So you better know this is about money. This has nothing to do with your health, but the whom he can control is whom he can extract money from. And I'm going to leave that like that.
Man, you hit me with a lot. But no, I agree. It's with the vaccine, I've always been weary of the vaccine. I've worked in healthcare for the last 8 years as a facilities director. So I work with life safety and environmental care. So I work closely with infectious control and different kind of nurses. And when I saw the nurses, there's already a shortage on nurses. And then when you're telling me you're going to fire nurses because they wouldn't take the vaccine, that was enough for me right there to show that it was the government and somebody with way high authority forcing people, right? Because we're supposed to live in a democracy, a state where a republic where we can have voices, we have freedom. And when you're forcing someone, you're taking away their livelihood, saying, if you don't do this, I am going to stop you from being able to take care of your family. That is a problem in America. That is a problem. And if we don't fight back and mobilize now as a people, we will all, not just Black people, we will all, as American people, be enslaved to our government.
Come on.
That's the thing. They pump us full of fear. It's psyops. They control your mind with fear. And with that fear, they send out all these mandates and all these votes and all these things saying do this, that, and the other. And you vote your rights away. You vote away all your freedoms. And 5 and 10 and 15 years from now, when our children are saying, Mama, what happened? Daddy, what happened? We're going to look back and be like, damn, we messed up. What we're trying to do right now is we're trying to get ahead of that curve, that ball. And we're trying to say, hey, people, our people, Black people, we are the real freedom seekers, the real people who got off the slaves. And off the plantation. We're like, hey, we see a storm coming and we're trying to save y'all. But all Black folk can't be saved. We're going to get the ones that we can. If y'all want to come with us, you can. But ain't no turning back once you leave that ship. Ain't no turning back.
Did he freeze? You there, Gary? Did he freeze?
Yeah, he's freezing up right now.
Oh, okay.
And now I will say this right now while Gary's messing up. I will say this. For any Black person that's in the Black community that wants to join the Harris County Republican Party or want to find out any information about the Harris County Republican Party, look up Harris County Republican Party precinct chairs. Apply to be a precinct chair. I guarantee you that position in your community will be vacant. We hear you, Gary. I guarantee you that position will be vacant. And you can come in and you can get your voice heard in the party. My thing is, I push the people before the party's agenda. If the party's agenda does not align with the agenda for my people, I ain't trying to hear that shit. Because my people come first.
So tell the people your name, the position you're running for, and the party you're affiliated. That'll be our final thoughts.
All right. So my name is Rashard Stephen Davis Baylor. I am running for HD 147, state representative for District 147.
And I am Demetria Smith, and I am running for Texas governor on the Republican ticket. Absolutely. And I'm like, Rashard, y'all get in contact if you just want to know, just want to visit, you just want to just sit in and hear. Get in contact with the Republican Party. Look online. You don't have to live in Harris County. You might that county that you live in, Ms. Craven will probably. I'm sure they have a Republican Party there. So just contact the county that you live in and just kind of visit, just kind of sit in and just see, what their agenda is and what their policies are, what they're talking about. No one asking anybody to just, move yourself completely, but just go out and hear both sides. You already hear one side. Let's go hear another side, and don't be afraid who would say something about you, why you doing it. Like, we're not afraid. Like, we coming out loud. We're letting you know, and what you're gonna do. And I say what you're gonna do, mean what you're gonna say. It's not gonna affect us one way or the other, because we know why we join the Freedom Party, so we can help fight for your freedom and fight for our freedom in our generation to come. And now we're asking for you to come on board and get on this freedom train.
Well, you know who I am. I'm 5-star. On the ballot is going to say Gary, the 5-star General Monroe. I'm running for state rep 131, District 131, and I'm running as a Republican. If y'all out there in the Democratic community, I know who you suckers are. If you're mad, I'm going to piss you off worse than that when it's all said and done. But I'm definitely a runaway slave at the moment, and I'm not getting back on the Democratic plantation.
Never.
At all.
Say, man,
I'm Demetrius
it's a
Smith.
reason that I'm the best in the business. Say, man, it's the Warzone every night, 7 o'clock. I'd love to have this conversation with y'all again. You're welcome to come back tomorrow if you want. It is what it is. Thank my guest, Rashard Baylor, Demetrius Smith, and I am the 5-star General. Until tomorrow, pull a Kunta Kinte on their ass. It's time to run away. But make sure you know the overseer, Sheila Jackson Lee, might tell on you. Until tomorrow night, man, we'll holler at you.